Well, they are the most dangerous and misunderstood of all sharks, and the great white calls New England home, at least part of the year anyway. Sightings off the coast of Massachusetts are seemingly more common than ever.
The WBZ weather team has been exploring every aspect of these fascinating creatures. Todd Gutner kicks off our week-long series on sharks with the great white.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Who could forget Jaws, the most terrifying shark ever created? That movie was shot right here in Massachusetts. Now the real-life apex predator is swimming with vacationers on the Cape every summer.
We knew that white sharks were actually in the area, but we didn't think they were as abundant as they would ultimately end up being.
Dr. Greg Scommel is a marine biologist for the state and an expert on great white sharks. He's been studying and tagging them for years.
We started tagging white sharks specifically in 2009. We've tagged 38 white sharks over the course of the last 5 years.
Yet despite that success, the habits of the great white remain somewhat elusive.
What we're learning from the tags themselves over the course of the last several years is that the white shark is not a predictable fish. What we thought was a very simple pattern of north-south migration is turning out to be much more complex. Yes, some white sharks do go north and south, summer, winter, much like a bird does. But we're not all of them. And it's the ones that aren't doing that we're trying to figure out.
What is known is that the great white is thriving and its population growing, and that has some researchers extremely happy.
It is. It's very positive news. It's very exciting for us, anyone interested in shark conservation, because you don't hear too many good stories.
Cynthia Wigren is the president of the Atlantic White Shark Conservancy. She wants to protect the great white because they play a critical role in keeping our oceans healthy.
The white sharks are important in our oceans because they maintain balance in the marine ecosystem. So without the white shark in the water, it impacts the next species down that it would feed on, which impacts the next level down, and it goes through that food web. Ultimately, it comes down to oxygen levels in the water that we as people rely on.
Despite what Hollywood may portray, the great white shark doesn't have an appetite for humans. In fact, they're surprisingly docile. Nonetheless, they swim off our beaches, and we need to respect that.
These animals are in our waters, and the possibility, although very, very improbable, does exist that there could be an interaction between a person and a white shark. So use common sense in very specific parts of Cape Cod when it comes to going swimming.
Dr. Scommel hopes that newer technologies will expedite shark research so that great whites' breeding habits and migration habits will be better understood. Now, tomorrow, Daniel Niles heads out to sea to explore how sharks have become big business for our area. From trips aboard charter boats to hats and T-shirts, New England is cashing in on shark tourism. That's tomorrow right here on WBZ. And getting back to the great white, Scommel and Wigren are working together this summer on a great white shark population study. They go out a couple of times a week and get in the boat, and they actually do some counting. So far, they have counted and detected 8 different sharks up and down the National Seashore, out through Chatham, and then also off of Martha's Vineyard, too.
Now, they do have an appetite for seals, so if you see seals in the water, don't swim around the seals, and they keep the seal population in check. Yeah. All right, Todd, that's good stuff. Thanks.
Thank you, Todd.
It's good to see you, Todd.
I know. Great to have you.